Hello once again. Today we are going to look at a workflow that analyzes your writing's tone of voice and allows you to replicate that across multiple articles using three different AI tools. We'll be using Bard, ChatGPT, as well as Cloud AI. So if you don't have an account, please make an account on all of them. They have free versions. You can use the free versions. These are the steps. First, we will analyze the tone of voice for an article you have written. So you need to have written a 500-word article at least, that kind of captures. And don't use AI to write that article, write it yourself. Pick a topic of your choice, whatever your expertise is. And a 500-word article is good enough. You may have written, emails, reports, and other things. You may have written earlier. Please copy paste that if you have already done it. But your write up is important to run this. The first step is analyzing the voice, tone of voice of your article. Then we create an outline for a new article. And finally, we run with the tone of voice and the outline, we create a new article. So there's some consistency in how you write. These are the prompts. And these prompts, as well as the steps, are part of the description of the video. Just go below and read in the description. You can copy paste from there, no problem. So what we have to do first is analyze the tone of voice, and I have already written. This is a newsletter edition that I had sent out, so I just copied pasted it here, and this is it, right? We copy the entire thing, and you have to go and paste it into Bard. I did that already. I was testing a few things. What Bard will give you is this: there are going to be three drafts here. I would not want to take this up because it's clubbing the tone of voice, it's guiding and authoritative. I want it to be independent like this, right? So when it is independent, it's easier because the next step, step 1A, is actually copying and pasting this part. We don't need the specific examples, so you can ignore those. You do need this last paragraph, right? So pick up the last paragraph, don't ignore it. This last paragraph as well as these key elements have to be copied and pasted, and it will look like this. So I have done this exercise a couple of times, so I know what tone of voice that article is about. Now what you do is you copy paste both those parts and then change it. Here it is in a tone which is analyzing things, right? Writer presents. Here you have to make it an instruction. So instead of saying presents and all, let's say adopt a position of expertise. So change the tenses here and make it an instruction for the AI. So it says tone of voice, this has to be used here too, change it. And I just change it to target audience. For example, here it will say client decision making and agency. So I was targeting agencies, therefore it's saying this. You can change it with your target audience and your tone of voice. It's fairly easy to do this part. Now, once you're done with this, the second step is to create an outline. So you have to write an outline. It could be 700 words, it could be 1,000 words. I would say don't go beyond 1,500 words. AI starts, going a little haywire after that. So yeah, for this example, 700-word article for the topic. And I have already chosen a topic. This was the topic I have chosen. And I'm going to write an outline, which I already did with Chat GPT. So this is the outline for the article which was generated, right? And once our article outline is generated, you go to step 3. And step 3 is you want to write an article with the tone of voice as well as the outline. So here it is. Write an article 700 words long for the topic. This is the topic. And I've also given the other instructions. Then you copy paste the tone of voice here. You copy paste the outline of the article here, right? Just copy it from ChatGPT. ChatGPT does a wonderful job of creating outlines. So I prefer using ChatGPT. You can try it with Bard and with others, but what you will see is there's going to be a lot of unnecessary inputs, right? So this workflow is decent enough. You can use Bard for outline of the article, but it will add unnecessary instructions in between. ChatGPT works really well. Remember, we are not generating the article here; we're generating it in Claude. So when you paste something in Claude, be careful. First, paste the instructions, then give a space, and then paste the rest of the artifacts here. The reason is sometimes Claude, what it does is once you've given it the instruction, and if you give a very lengthy prompt after that, it will make it an attachment. So all of this can disappear. So instead of that, just give the instruction first, and then the rest of the prompt. And when I've already done that, so Here it did not make an attachment, but it's taken the entire thing and it has generated the 691 word article. And if you see, it's written, it's not generated a different title, it's kept the title intact. And if you read through this, it's very readable. It doesn't look like an AI has generated it. Sometimes, yes, a little bit of analogy is used, but otherwise the writing is fairly straightforward. It's not using floral language, it's not using a lot of metaphors, etc. If you do the same thing in BART, for example, and I did the same test in BART, what happens is, you see, first of all, this article is almost 800 words long. And BART has generated its own title, which I did not want it to do. Otherwise, if you are using it in BART, you have to instruct it not to use metaphors and all these things, analogies, etc. Otherwise, it will do this. It will write in a very floral language, which you don't want it to write in. ChatGPT does a good job. It's not that it doesn't do a good job. Here is the article written by ChatGPT, but you know it's written by ChatGPT because in the ever-evolving world of digital marketing, right? In its broadened sense, I mean, it just feels written by an AI for some reason, right? It's not a good draft to start with. You have to change a lot of things to make it a good article. I also went ahead and I analyzed the tone of voice of the generated article. It is precise in the sense whatever I had asked it to do, it has done. But I do believe ChatGPT has added its own flavor to it. So if you actually see, this is the tone of voice: authoritative, persuasive, empathetic, and action oriented. And ChatGPT has done exactly that. So has Claude. But as I said, Claude does a much better job of following instructions without adding anything additional. It balances its own generative AI thing with the instructions you have given, especially for a write-up where the instructions are very, very clear. If you want something very creative, go to BART. But with BART, what has happened is, if you see, it's given the overall tone, but then it's added these elements, right? Metaphors and analogies. I don't want metaphors. So you have to instruct part, don't use metaphors and analogy, don't use rhetorical questions. I mean, these are important things, right? If you don't instruct it, it sometimes will give you this type of stuff, which is not very convincing, frankly. So you have your article copy ready. Now, what do you do with this? Do not copy paste it and finalize and send it out, or say this is the final article. No, this is not. Just copy. This is the first draft of the article. This is not the final article. Copy and paste it into a Word document, a text document, whatever your favorite editing tool is, and edit it. This is the first draft. You have to put in your flavor, you have to put in your examples, and then the write up is ready. But the good thing about this workflow is it's consistent every single time. Now you have the tone of voice. The best part is this entire thing remains as it is. You don't have to change it, except of course the topic. Change the topic, but everything else till here remains similar. The outline will change, so you can use the same tone of voice over and over again for your articles, and there'll be consistency in how you write. That's it. All the best.